Okay, next we'll look at a bit of Superman, see some of his powers. I'll try and dart through these because there's a lot of slides here, okay? So Superman obviously is one of the godlike characters. He has a lot of powers in the comics. He's super strong. You can see his heat vision there. So one of the things you'll have to do is say who the character is and what they can do. Just a quick summary sort of slide there, that'd be good. So you have a little bit of the backstory, anything you think's relevant, a little bit to show you know who the character is. In a case of someone like Superman that's got so many powers, you might want to do something like, here's a list of all his powers. These are the ones I'm going to focus on. So there's things like super strength, heat vision. There's some cool pictures of that. This is, I don't know, invulnerability, okay, being bulletproof. And if you'd look at that, then why doesn't his suit get torn up as well? And there's reasons for that in the comics and movies. They're all different, none of them particularly good, but they've tried to think of that. Can we fly? Okay, so can we fly? Well, the answer is yes, but not unaided, obviously. So we have things like planes. We have things like the wingman suit. There's a clip there you could have a look at. The jetman suit. Okay, so that's a jetpack one. How do we glide and fly really? Okay, you can have a look at those things. So we can't obviously do that, what Superman's doing there, but we can simulate some sort of flying and gliding, slowing us down. Okay, we looked at terminal velocity with the last thing with Batman's hook. Those wingsuits spread out the body and have the wings underneath, so that that gives you more air resistance. That's going to slow you down, makes you more maneuverable in the air. Some cool stuff there. Solar charge. So he is a living solar cell. In the comics, Superman gets his power from two things: from the lesser gravity of this planet to the one he was born on. So presumably, this might be a little bit of real science. If he could be born on a planet that has greater gravity, then his body would be more resistant to those conditions. So if he came here, his body would presumably be stronger for a while. But astronauts go to space where there's lesser gravity, and their muscles actually start to get weaker and their bones start to get weaker. And they have to go through like an intensive program when they get back to make sure they build their muscles back up. Okay, they all atrophy. Okay, which means waste away because they're not being used. So that should technically happen to Superman, and he should be walking around like we see people on the moon, like bouncing. Okay, because he's the lesser gravity. But that doesn't happen. So solar charge, he takes energy from the sun to give him his powers. That's the other way that they say he gets his powers. Okay, and here's another one. Superman's powers, X-ray vision. Well, so you'd look at what an X-ray is in the real world. So in the examples in the comics and movies and TV shows, this one's from Smallville. How does X-ray work? Okay, so it looks like an X-ray to us, so people don't really think about that, but there's a problem with this. Okay, he looks through things. Sometimes he can just look through one layer of clothing and not other things. Sometimes he sees right through to the skeleton and the organs and things like that. Well, an X-ray works by beaming X-rays at a part of the body. Okay, bones will stop most of the light. Okay, that just stops it. And some of it will get through and it hits like this photographic plate. This is the original X-rays where we had the physical ones rather than the digital ones. And it gives us what we'd call a negative picture. Okay, it shows us where the light's come through and where it hasn't, and then you get to see the structure. Okay, but that's not how eyesight works. Eyesight, I don't know if I've got it here actually. Okay, there's a few things that I look at here. Eyesight works by light bouncing off something. So if light hits the bone and some of it is reflected back to your eye, you will see that object, the bone. If his X-ray vision worked like that, by passing through things, nothing would return to his eye, so he wouldn't see anything. It would just be black. Okay, unless, of course, that light that hits the bone that isn't going through the bone, the X-rays do come back to his eyes, and then it's not so big a problem. Okay, so that's possible, but that's something to look at. So X-ray vision doesn't seem to work because the way X-rays work in the real world is about not returning any light. It's just put it onto the photo sheet, whereas eyesight works by light hitting something and then bouncing back to the eye. But then we could look at X-rays. Sorry, I'm a bit sniffly this morning. X-rays, how they work. So you would look at this sort of